We're also going to recap some stuff on bullying, and then we're going to go right into domestic violence. October is a loaded month, guys. It's anti-bullying month, domestic violence month, as well as breast cancer awareness month. And we're going to give you some valuable information on those three areas also. And also, I just want to thank those listeners that have been following us since we started on September 7th. Thank you so much for your continued support. We really appreciate your comments and you listening and sharing our show. We want you to continue to do that. And those of you that are new to Destiny Talk Live, welcome. And we thank you for listening and tuning in. I also want to let you know that we are not licensed professionals. So anything that we offer here or share with you is on-the-job training. So if you are under the care of a physician or professional care, please continue to do what they do, what they tell you to do. What we're here to do is just offer you another outlet or some way to make yourself better at what you're trying to do. I also want to, take a little time out to let everybody know this has been for us here in the United States and just all over a rough kind of year. For the last few months, hurricanes just have been tearing up our cities and some of our states and some of our countries, Puerto Rico, the islands, Florida, Texas, and so on. And then we just had another mass shooting. They say it's one of the worst ever in the United States out in Vegas. We're going to touch a little bit about that. But I just want to offer the listeners and people out there hope. Give you some words of encouragement. Sometimes we have things that come at us back to back, and we really don't know where to go or what to do with a situation, and it can get heavy on us. I suggest you just step away sometimes. And what I mean by that is turn off the social media. Step away for a day or two, 24 hours. Give yourself time to breathe from it. Stop watching the news. And be very mindful on taking in negative energy. When you have people coming at you with negative conversations and so forth, walk away from it. You have that right and you have the power to do so. I also suggest find something that makes you happy, whether it's going dancing, going skating, finding some sip and paint group that's going on, join a book club, do something or start something that you're passionate about that can make a difference or a change in someone's life. That's what we did here at Destiny Talk. As I told you, we started out as phone call every Sunday. We had a few handful of us all over the U.S. We talked. Then it went from the conversation on the phone on Sundays to a Facebook group. And then from a Facebook group, we went to Facebook Live conversations. And now here we are on the Sensation Station Network, sharing our dream, our passion, and our goals with you. Again, our purpose is to help you get through those things and this thing we call life. I want you to stay tuned. We've got stuff coming up. We are going to talk about a man's worth, Superwoman. And if you guys are in to tune in, please like it, tag it, so it'll tell you when we're on. It's Tune In Radio. If you want to call in or text, we need to text at 678-613-5857. And we're going to be back with you, and we're going to talk about bullying. We're going to end it today. Thank you again, and you're listening to Cherry on Destiny Talk Live.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And lead the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped. childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Y'all need anything else?
Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G, coming to you every Thursday at 1 p.m. We're going to talk about today the effects of bullying. We're going to give you the pointers that we've been talking about all month. We're going to close that out, and then we're going to come back in talking about domestic violence. If you're listening in to tune in, please tag it so you can come back and know when we're online. And also, we want you to text and call to 678-613-5857, or if you're on Facebook joining us, please type your comments in the comment section and we'll get out to you. Today I have some awesome ladies in the house today, and they're going to be sharing their stories with us. But today I want to go ahead and introduce my co-hosts that are going to help me facilitate this conversation today. Hello, Santrell, and thank you so much for coming. Go ahead and give them your spiel one more time for me, please.
Hey, everybody. It's Santrell Green from the Eliam Group Training and Consulting. As always, it is great to be here with you. I can be reached via the web at www.theeliam Group Training, or at 678-993-0757.
Thank you so much, Santrell. And now I have another guest that I'm going to go ahead and let Cousia introduce herself. Go ahead and tell them a little bit about you.
Hello, my name is Cousia Towns, and I am a survivor and an advocate for domestic violence and abuse. And I have a nonprofit organization that mentor and teaches life skills to young women that has exited out of the foster care system.
Thank you so much for joining us, you guys. She has a powerful story, and I didn't even want to put it out there because I want her to tell it to you, because, like I said, it blew my mind, and I was like, you have to be on this show, because in order for us to get the information out there and people to understand that you are not by yourself, I needed someone here that could be an advocate for you. Today, as I said, we're going to follow up on some of our bullying information that we gave you, and I'm going to ask Santrell to kick it off for us with redefining what bullying is, and then we can go in from the conversations there. And guys, again, this is where you can call in. We want you to text or call to 678-613-5857. And if you are on Facebook, go ahead and type your comments in and we'll be right with you. Go ahead.
Absolutely, Cherry. The definition of bullying that we have been sharing with you guys over these last few weeks is in the literature, and it is confirmed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. We know that bullying can be physical, whether it be damaging an individual, doing bodily harm, or their possessions. It can also be physical. It's negative comments and things like that. One of the things that we know is that bullying it's consistent. Oftentimes it is within groups. It's more of in a social setting. It's kind of that mean girls effect, as we say, as well as there is an imbalance of power. The bullier wants to be dominant in that relationship. So there's an imbalance of power between the bully and the victim.
Yeah, so when we were talking about that, we had also given warning signs, and we've had people call in that talk to us about how bullying affected them. So Cousia, I know that you're coming in on the tail end of the bullying aspect, so I want to open the floor up to you. Have you experienced anything like that, or know anyone that has been bullied? Because I told the story on the show 2 shows ago, I think, where I actually was a bully, and I had to own up to that, but I wasn't a bully to where I was going around and starting stuff. It was just that was just my way of protecting me from all of the other stuff that had happened to me. So I was bullied that became the bully. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, I do. I know that you and we have a similar story. And I became a bully because of things that was happening to me in my household. So therefore, I really do. I understand about bullying.
Would you like to care to share anything about the bullying aspect, or?
I can. I became a bully because I was so angry about the things that was happening behind the door, and nobody understood that reason why I became a bully. Being abused, coming from an abusive background in my history, we spoke about this as well. Becoming from sexual molestation, and you want to reach out to someone to let them see, but you don't understand what's really going on in your life. So it was hard for me to express that to the teachers, and the teachers didn't understand as well. But one day you come in one way, and then the next time you come back in, you became a bully. And nobody never pulled me to the side and say, hey, what's going on? So I think the teachers really do need to pay attention to those that come into the schoolhouse, and they have anger issues, because something is really behind the surface of it. Wow.
Yeah, and we talked about that too, because it's sometimes, and the biggest thing about this show is you have to know how to express yourself and know how to communicate. And that was kind of like my story, in a sense that no one really understood why I was so angry all the time and whatever, but it was just my way of protecting me and what I was going through. And we did talk about that before, that there are warning signs and things that you need to pay attention to that will tell you what's going on with your child or the student or whomever, so you can recognize bullying. And when we come back, we're going to talk about that and the effects that it has still on our men. And ladies, don't go anywhere, because I got something for you too. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Keep a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Your health is at stake. Diabetes.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease. Yeah, right. I'm too young to worry about all of that. Or am I? Millions of Americans are being diagnosed younger and younger each year. I guess it's really no surprise with how much our lifestyles have changed. More fried fast foods, extreme stress from work. 176 million people in North America consume unhealthy drinks. I know I do. Who could be next? My brother? My sister? Me? I think it's time to make a difference, and so should you. Extreme X2O alkaline water, designed to cleanse your body with just 2 simple steps. Shake and wait. Not only will it help clean your kidneys, liver, and intestines, but it also helps with weight loss and anti-aging. Sign me up today. AbundantLifeMovement.com. You know, I better go call my sister to let her know about this. You should really tell a friend too, because is it really going to kill you to shake and wait?
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win the Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it. And it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ. And he guided us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team.
I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place this first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined.
Physically and mentally tough. Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I
I'm an expert, and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Just before the break, we were talking about the effects of bullying, and Cousia shared her story of how she turned into a bully because of things that were going on in her life. And also, I shared a few shows back about things that made me become a bully. And I think sometimes, guys, if we don't pay attention and we don't stay focused to what's going on with our children or friends or people in their lives, we might not understand why they're behaving or acting the way they have. Now, when we were talking about bullying earlier in the show, we covered Santrail, where men, unfortunately, you guys a lot of the bullying from the women online, because women, ladies, we are vicious. So we were talking about some of the things that men face, and we had a gentleman share with us that he was being cyberbullied from a ex-girlfriend. She went out and put some stuff out there on him, and then he said it went from cyberbullying now to she's stalking. So my thing is, how do you combat that, fellas, and how do we help you get through that uncomfortable phase in your life? And we gave some pointers. Central, do you remember some of the stuff that we talked about as far as what men should do?
You know, we talked about don't do the tit for tat. You know, as much as you can, do not go back and forth, because as soon as you acknowledge the comment that they're making, that empowers the bully so that they can continue to come at you. But also, do not be afraid to let them know that legal action can be taken and so on, because a lot of times bullies don't think that you'll do anything. When they see you, they just see victim, and they see someone who is powerless, that they have the power over. So let them know that you do have options, that you are willing to engage.
Yeah, and I always tell people, and gentlemen, I want to say this to you also, you know, sometimes you guys get the brunt of the frustration that's going on with the ladies, and sometimes you guys cause it, sometimes you do not. We also had a gentleman that was on the show that talked about how he was bullied in the sense by his ex-wife, because if he showed any type of emotion, you know, she didn't view him as a man. She looked at him as somebody that was weak. Have you ever had, or do you have men in your life, Cousia, that you've experienced or they've experienced bullying, and you really were able to recognize it because of something that you've been through?
Yes, even recently, I was in a relationship, and because of the abuse that I had experienced, you never know, because you push it down so far, you really don't understand what's going on in your life. And this was just recently. I can admit I hit someone because I was angry. And he said to me, he said, you need to go and see about that, because you are still angry until you release that. That's why I tell my friends, until you release that, you will become the bully.
Yes. And that is so true, because I mean, I can remember at one time, and this is when I was a little bit younger, and I laugh about it now, but it's not by any means funny. I laugh because it's just a way of saying, man, I made it through this. But I was dating a person that I wanted him to stop talking to me. He was really getting on my nerves, and he kept talking, and he didn't stop talking, so I punched him in the mouth. And he was like, why you hit me? I said, because I asked you to stop talking to me. Now, I don't suggest anybody to go out there and put your hands on anybody. That is, you don't do that. And we have these ladies that say, well, if he hit me, I'm going to hit him back. We can't be the man. I'm telling you right now, we can't be the man. They are stronger than us, and they will knock us out. And then when we get knocked out and get hit, then the whole world want to be mad at the man because he was defending himself. I do not suggest anybody hit anybody. That's man, woman, or whatever. So don't ever take what I'm saying that I think it's okay for a man to hit a woman. I'm saying to you, it's not okay for a woman to hit a man and a man to hit a woman, or anybody to be putting their hands on anybody. But my way of, just because I had no fear.
And because you was a victim.
Right.
You become the abuser.
Right.
And it could easily turn really quick.
And people
so
don't
you
realize
have to
that.
be careful with that.
Exactly.
That's why it's so important for you to get counseling so you can be able to work those things out in you first.
Right. And gentlemen, you guys, when you go through abuse or something like that, or even like we're talking about with this bullying aspect, you become the abuser. And there's a lot of you guys that don't want to believe that. You're like, you hear the women say, oh, he hit me because he loved me. No, that's not love, boo. I just want to let you know that's not love. What you need to do, fellas, is if you find yourself angry for no reasons, you come into situations or things that are uncomfortable for you, I'm telling you now, you're hearing it from me, it is okay to get help with that.
Absolutely, because what the two of you are describing is typical of the definition. There's a power play going on here. You, as a child, both of you, there was a lack of power in that situation. You had no control. So when it came time for adulthood, it was, I'm going to control this. I am going to exert power because now I can, and I'm going to make up for when I couldn't. So there's always that power play that's going on. And if I could share anything as well with our men, is that it doesn't make you less than. You know, that can be, gosh, what does this say about my manhood if I say I've been bullied? It doesn't say anything about it. It doesn't make you less than a man. As Sherry just mentioned, get the help, the counseling that you need so that you don't become a perpetrator yourself, but it doesn't make you less than a man.
Yeah, because for me, fellas, I think it's sexy when a man can express what's going on with him. I don't care about the emotions. If you want to cry, cry, because that lets me know that you're human and that you have a heart. So if you're getting it from these ladies, like, are you crying, you're a punk? Hey, that's probably not who you need in your world.
Exactly.
Right.
You
That
know
is
what I mean?
their deficiency,
That's their
not
deficiency,
yours.
not yours. I want you guys to be, like we've been saying throughout this show, is be true to who you are. Right. And understand when you have a flaw that it needs to be fixed, and we talked about why do people bully, and they came up with some stuff that says cultural causes cause bullying, institutional causes, social issues, family issues, which myself and Kasha were telling you guys about, the bully's personal history, having power, and provocative victims. So these are some of the people, that's reasons why they bully. We're going to talk a little bit more as we get through about racial bullying, because that's another form of bullying along with cyberbullying that is prominent, but nobody wants to talk about it. It's that taboo subject, but we have to address it, guys, because we have to fix this problem. Centrell, I think I gave you something over there that was saying some of the signs, the warning signs of bullying. Can you touch back on those again for the listeners for me, please?
Absolutely. And I know this is going to be important because we had a lot of listeners concerned about their children. So some of the things that you want to look for, unexplained injuries. A kid comes home and they have a bruise or something. What is happening here? Loss of, they go to school with their iPhone or something else, jewelry or whatever, and it's gone, but they don't want to tell you why. Things like they're sleeping a lot. They turn into themselves. Depression could be setting in, skipping meals and things like that. And it's not just kids, that these things can happen to adults as well. So we have to be mindful of the changes in behavior, whether they be subtle or large.
Yeah, and you have to, again, like we said, you have to be in tune at what's going on with your children. You have to stay tuned. We're coming back. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Calendars knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's. It's time to say.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids, but we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We are talking about bullying, the effects of it, how you can be a bully, how to recognize the signs. And I have my guests on here that are helping me facilitate this conversation with you this morning. This is where we want you guys to call in or text. Actually, if you're listening to Tune In, please text us at 678-613-5857. Like us on Tune In. That way it will pop up every time you know that we're on the radio. If you're listening on Facebook, please put your comments in the comment section and we'll be able to get back with you. We have a guest that is going to also talk about bullying. She was not here earlier, but she's here now. We're going to have her go ahead and introduce herself, tell us who she is, how you can reach her, and then we're going to ask her to share her story with us. How you doing today, ma'am?
I'm good. Hi, Cherry. My name is Lelia Haygood, and I am the Chief Bully Buster. I focus on workplace bullying. My website is www.bullybusters.org. Bullybusters.org.
Thank you so much. We were just talking about, and Cousia and I shared a story of how things that we went through when we were younger, that our way of, letting out the aggression is we both became bullies ourselves. I wasn't one that would just walk around and start stuff, but I would finish it. And it didn't take much for you to set me off. Now, did I walk around and act like I could whoop everybody? Absolutely not. Did I think I was going to win every fight? Absolutely not. But I did know that you were going to remember I was there. That was my purpose. So we were talking about how it's so easy to get caught in and caught up in bullying, that some of us lose our voice and we don't know how to address it. And the cool thing is, you actually are talking about the subject we're walking into now. And ladies, I want you to hear this, because a lot of us, and men too, we're not leaving you out, we have workplace bullies, and we just don't know how to deal with them. And sometimes we may pass it off and say it'll go away, but I'm here to tell you it's not. It's not going to go away. So Leela, if you could just share a little bit about your story, and then we'll go into it from there.
Okay. This was 2 years ago, and I was working in Midtown Atlanta at a commercial real estate firm. And I worked in the HR department. I was the director of talent acquisition. And I was actually bullied by the HR director, who was an African-American female.
Wow.
So she how it started was one day she said, "I don't like the color of your pants." And I'm like, "Okay." She says, "Go home and change clothes." I thought she was kidding. And she came out of a meeting. She said, "I told you I don't like the color of those pants." She says, "Go home and change." And so I did. I don't know why now, but I did. And then she would just nitpick. She said, "Well, why do you talk like that?" I said, "I have a tiny voice. That's the way God made me." She says, "Well, you need to change the way you talk. I don't like the way you talk." And I'm like, "Okay." But this person interviewed me, so she knew my voice, how I spoke when she interviewed me. And then she told me I was too friendly. And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm in talent acquisition, which is recruiting, so I need to be friendly with the hiring managers and with when associates come in. So she was just always nitpicking. And I suffered in silence for several months. I didn't even tell my spouse because I'm like, at the time I was 48 years old, and I'm like, you know what? I'm being bullied. And I would actually go in my car on my lunch break and cry.
You know, I'm glad you shared that because we talked last week and the week before about adult bullying, and that a lot of adults don't want to admit that they are being bullied. Now, the sad part about your situation, what I see is it's the HR director. The HR
Exactly.
director is supposed to be your protector, at the job when you have bullying or stuff like that. So how do you do that? How do you come through it? Do you have any suggestions, Kasha, or have you ever experienced anything like that?
Me personally, because I am self-employed, so therefore I run my own business, and I've never experienced this before. But what I can do is share the fact that, you should, when you're being bullied, you have to know how to go into your quiet place and just start thinking about, okay, what can I do next? Who can I go over? I need to go over that individual so I can be able to share that information with them.
Well, it's easier said than done because I've been in HR for 20 plus years, and the sad part about it is I had coached people who said they had aggressive managers, but I never really thought about it as bullying. So one thing is I didn't, because she had been at the company for so long and I kind of understood the culture, I felt I didn't have an avenue to go to. Okay, so that's number one, and that's what a lot of people feel. And then the one time that I did share with someone who I thought was a confidant at work, they went right back and told her what I said. So I always
Wow.
say at work, you have no friends. At work, you have no friends. I mean, you have people that you get along with at work, but you know what? They will stab you in the back so quickly when they can, just to try to get a leg up. So let's fast forward. I then went on vacation. And so when I came back from vacation, she called me back and, oh, no, I'm sorry. I have to go tell you this. So I told you it's a commercial real estate company. And they have uniforms for the workers, right? So she sent me in the uniform room to work for like 2 weeks doing just folding clothes. That's not a part of my job description, but she's trying to get me to quit. And I'm like, you know what? I've never quit an HR job. I've never quit a job. I've been laid off but never quit. You're not going to make me quit. So I redesigned the room, and I would sit in there on my phone most of the time because she was like, you go in the room. And I'm like, okay. So my girlfriend was like, just continue to pray and be positive, but don't quit. I was like, okay. So she realized that didn't work. And I would smile and say, good morning, and be all cheerful. I made the best of of a bad situation. And then after that, she started sabotaging my work. She would take down my emails and tell the IT people to disrupt my emails and
Wow, don't go anywhere. And I hope you guys are tuning in and listening. And we really want your questions and comments because this is real life work situation. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
1 in 7 Americans will struggle with addiction during their lifetime. Want to know how you can help? Go to heretolisten.com for tips and tools to help turn addiction around. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures. A stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I am your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Marie Callender's knows that you may not have time to roll out dough for a perfectly flaky crust that's made from scratch, or enough time to mix vegetables with all white meat chicken and a homemade gravy. She knows you may not have a moment to crimp the edges of your favorite chicken pot pie, but Marie Callender's does. And when she's done, all you need to do is find time to grab someone special, sit down, and savor. Marie Callender's, it's time to savor.
There's a power you have within you, unlike any other. You can't explain it. It's just there. It drives you, compels you. You cannot ignore it. Do you feel it? It's that power that tells you you can do the absolute impossible. The power that tells you you're more than what you currently are. The power that tells you it's time. Launch. Move. Skyrocket your life with Rocket Sports One fitness gear. RocketSports-One.com.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Just before the break, we were listening to Leah talk about her experience with workplace bullying, and we're going to have her pick back up on that conversation. But this is the time I want you guys to comment. You can text or call in to 678-613-5857. Or if you're listening to Facebook, us on Facebook, go ahead and write and text your comment in. Those that are listening to Tune In, please like us on Tune In. And then you can also text in again to 678-613-5857. Leela, I would like for you to pick back up and let us know just some of the more of the things that this person was doing.
Okay. So she was sabotaging my work, working with IT to monitor my emails, and then she would cut my emails off for my other coworkers couldn't communicate with me, and I'm running around trying to figure out why. I found that out. In addition to, she would just basically just say really mean and cruel things to me.
You know, and I want to say this to you guys, you know, and we have to stop this nonsense. And again, like I said, women, it's said that we are the worst when it comes down to bullying, cyberbullying, and so forth. If you get into a position, you're up in a position and so forth, that is not the time for you to exert negative behavior. That's when you should be able to step out and be, I'm going to say it, grown and professional about your business. This stuff this woman was doing was just outrageous. And I want to tell you, if you look at it, and since we've been here, sitting here talking, there was something wrong with her.
Exactly.
Yes. It was a deficit in her life. Yes. There was something about you that reminded her of something she couldn't be. And that's how you have to sometimes look at that. And just sitting here hearing your story is like, man, what do you do? And I hope you guys have been listening. This was a HR person that was supposed to be the one to protect her.
Absolutely.
Cetrell, what are your thoughts?
You know, it is absolutely blowing my mind because although she is supposed to be there to protect her, the professional, she was there more so to protect the company. And with her behavior, she was not protecting her company because we know at the end, they have to make sure that the company is protected, that their image is going to be intact and so on. So that HR manager actually opened that company up to suits. So as you said, it's really, she's looking at, it's a deficiency in that HR manager, not her as a worker. And what also ran in my mind was that culturally, what was happening in this company? Because what often happens, and you and I talk about this often, is that people who have managed projects well are often put in charge of other people, and it is not the same thing. So I think about that culture. There is leadership training and so on that is so necessary because that just shouldn't be so. But the HR manager actually just put the company in jeopardy more than anything, and herself, because she could be sued personally as well.
So, Leah, what did you do? I mean, where was your avenue, your recourse? How did you get through that?
Well, it took a toll on my health, actually. It took a whole toll on my self-esteem. I started having I had stomach issues. Every time I would go to work, I would literally, I'm just going to be blunt, I would get diarrhea.
Wow.
I would get a nervous stomach. So that was one thing. And then the second thing is, it's funny now, but it's not. Every morning I would call the Joyce Meyer prayer line. I mean, at like 6 in the morning. And my husband told me to quit, but I'm like, I'm not going to let this person defeat me. You know, I'm just not. I was just not going to quit.
And you know what she said, if you guys think about it, she said she got sick.
Right.
Stress is serious, y'all.
Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
It's serious. I'm telling you, you have to be careful to not let this stuff come to you, because I mean, I just recently left work, stress and everything, and like I told you guys on a couple of shows, because of stress, I had a stroke October 3rd. You know, so I want you guys to stay tuned. We're going to talk more about this. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live.
Your health is at stake. Diabetes.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease? Yeah, right. I'm too young to worry about all of that. Or am I? Millions of Americans are being diagnosed younger and younger each year. I guess it's really no surprise with how much our lifestyles have changed. More fried fast foods, extreme stress from work. 176 million people in North America consume unhealthy drinks. I know I do. Who could be next? My brother? My sister? Me? I think it's time to make a difference, and so should you. Extreme X2O alkaline water, designed to cleanse your body with just 2 simple steps: shake and wait. Not only will it help clean your kidneys, liver, and intestines, but it also helps with weight loss and anti-aging. Sign me up today. AbundantLifeMovement.com. You know, I better go call my sister to let her know about this. You should really tell a friend too, because is it really gonna kill you to shake and wait?
So, I'm a dog, and I just got adopted by this new human guy, and I'm starting to wonder how he got along without me. I mean, okay, something as simple as walking around the block. He's got this leash thing, and he puts me on one end and him on the other, and I'm just taking him around. I think he's afraid of getting lost. Without that leash and me guiding him along, I don't think he'd find his way back home. But it's kind of cute.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We were talking before the break about workplace bullying. We have a guest here, Lelia Haygood, that's talking about her situation she had at work where she was being bullied by her HR manager. This is where also, guys, I want you guys to text and call in your comments, 678-613-5857. If you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and type your comment in and we'll get to you. We'll read them out loud and we'll talk about them. And also, if you're on TuneIn, go ahead and like us, and then you can text in at 678-613-5857. We've been talking about, since the show started, how we've become bullies, we've been bullied, what the effects of bullying are, workplace bullying. But the big thing we got to think about is how bullying affects the family.
Absolutely.
Okay, Leah was telling us she got sick. Stress was getting to her. I mean, like I told you guys, I was so stressed out. I had a stroke. And then, some of us that have come in, we've either been the aggressor. And so what happens when your child is bullied? What happens? What do you do? And how do you help your child when they're being bullied? I'm going to let Cousia kick this off. Did you have any problems or situations where any of your kids were bullied? As a parent, did you have to deal with that?
No, I didn't have any problems with my children with being being bullied. They were pretty much, the bullies.
They were the bullies. But
Yes.
if you think about that, why do you think that they were bullies? Was it because of the aggressive behavior they saw from you, or how did that work out?
Well, because I put them in a situation where it was where I took them out of their comfort zone, and placed them in a whole different state. So they became angry, and you got to look at your life and what you do. It affects your children, and that affected my children.
And I like what you said. You took them out of their comfort zone.
did.
A lot of us parents won't own up to our mess. I didn't have, my kids weren't so much bullies. My oldest one, I always tell people she bullied the bullies, because that's just the way she was. I mean, but Tanisha saw a lot of my mess, so that's why she was a little bit aggressive. So, Trell, what about you? Have you ever had to deal with bullying as a parent?
We absolutely did. One of our children was being bullied at school, and he certainly defended himself, but school was becoming a miserable place for him. And we just said, we learned that he was not the only kid that was going through that. And he said, you know what, I just want to go to school without all of the other stuff. I want this to be a good experience. So we made the decision to remove him from that school because we realized that even though we pushed the issue that it was bigger than us. So we said, you know what, you don't have to be in that environment. So we found another source for him, and he is happy and thriving and has moved on to higher education. But we weren't afraid to remove him. We didn't care about what anybody thought.
Do you know of any, I don't know, Leah, but do you know about any situations with that where children were bullied?
Yes, actually I do. One of my very good friends, her daughter was bullied really seriously, and she had to end up finding someone to homeschool her.
Wow. So for some of the signs, and let's talk with you, Cousia, how did you know, or your daughters or your children were bullies? How did you, what things did you see that made you recognize that in them?
Well, first, what I did, I made sure I gave them everything that they could become self-sufficient first and foremost. But I was taking it away because I wasn't listening to them. Even though I was giving them everything that they need, I was still taking it away because I'd taken them out of their comfort zone and took them to a whole different state. And I was raising them according to what I thought that was perfect in my eyes, but I wasn't looking at the fact that it was harmful and they were upset about something, because we so focus on what we want and how we need to live our lives. You really don't pay attention, because I was broken too. I was hurt. I was broken. So therefore, at that time when I pulled them out of their homes, home from Georgia, they were upset, but I never saw that until later on.
We talked about that, Santrell, on a show, that we have to be in tune with our kids. And sometimes if you got both families or both parents broken and they don't know how to fix themselves, or they don't even know where they're at, what is the resource for this child?
Exactly. And one thing, if I can share with you, Cherry, and I did this with my son, both my husband and I, and it was obviously something that needed to be said today, because I was watching a morning show and the psychologist there said the same thing. When our son said that this was happening to him, we did not say, well, what did you do? We did not say, just get over it. we did not diminish what he was telling us. What it was we thank you for coming to us, for trusting us enough to come to us with that information. Now, how can we help you? But so often, because of what society says you're supposed to be as far as your role is concerned, it would be easy to say, well, like you said, don't be a punk. What did you do? It's your fault and so on. But we said, no. We're here for you. We are your safe place to land. So we're not going to diminish how you feel. We're going to do something to help you.
And when we come back, we're going to have Leah tell us a little bit more of how she got through that, and we're going to talk more about how we can help our kids. Thank you so much. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Well, you'll see what happens. Sensation Station Network.
Coming to Tampa Bay, I said we want to win a Super Bowl, and I believe we will.
From IamSecond.com.
We came close, but never really did win that championship.
Former NFL head coach Tony Dungy.
At the end of my 6th year, I was fired, and it was one of the biggest disappointments of my life. Next year, I'm in Indianapolis, get to the playoffs, but get knocked out again. And for the next couple of years, it's the same thing. Everyone is saying Colts are never going to win one. And I did wonder, why didn't it pan out the way I thought it would? But I determined that I had to have Christ first, and that everything else came below that, including my own desires. The next year, that ended up being our year to go to the Super Bowl and win it, and it was a wonderful feeling. Every decision I make, I'm going to make it through the lens of Jesus Christ, and He'd guide us to that ultimate victory. I'm Tony Dungy, and I am second.
My savings are gone.
Okay, where were they last?
Here, right before I spent them on that vacation to Aruba.
Weird. Not weird. Not saving now means no money later. For free ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
JBT 700 Miami Circle 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. This is the part of the show that I have guests send in, and they're asking me for their help to put some information out there. We have a young lady by the name of Destiny Navarte in Santa Maria, California. She has been missing since Monday, September the 18th. Her family has no idea where she is, but they believe she's in the company of a gentleman by the name of Miguel Perez, who is 19. He is very abusive. He goes by the name of Tweety Bird. Destiny is 16 years old. She's 5'3" and weighs about 135 pounds. She has brown eyes, brown hair with blonde highlights. If you guys have any information out there in Santa Maria, California of her whereabouts, please go to Destiny Talk Live Facebook page, and you'll see her picture and everything on there, and contact us so we can get this information back to her family. Also, we have a family, one of our lady hard hitters, her son is missing. His name is Julian. He was last seen on September 18th, 2017 in Panorama City, California. He's 13 years old. He stands about 5'5" and weighs about 135 to 140 pounds, and he has a birthmark on his back. If you have any information as to where Julian is, please contact his mother, Loretta, at 956-274-8444. And let's bring some happy endings to these families. You can also go on to Destiny Talk Live, a Facebook page, and you will see the picture of this young man so you can help them out. And then last but not least, we have a family that needs help out of Puerto Rico. They have children, a girl 7, a boy 10, and a girl 17. They are needing clothes, shoes, or anything that you can help them with. And the person that is looking for this assistance is Sarah George Durham. You can reach her on Facebook, or please go to the Destiny Talk Live Facebook page and you will get that information. Message me and I will tell you how to get in touch with them and get this stuff out there. So guys, keep your prayers and your thoughts with those families. When we were leaving into the break, we were talking about being attentive to our children and how we can help them through bullying. I can tell you from a parent and myself, I was very in tuned at what was going on with my children. And if something was wrong, I could pretty much tell because I learned their personalities. And like we said, when you're broken, it's very difficult to come in and try to help somebody else who is broken.
Absolutely.
But I want to tell you, there is help out there and there is a way to come out. And when we were talking about this, I want to give this number out for the bullying hotline. It's 1-800-273-TALK, TALK. Again, the bullying hotline is 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. If you feel that your child is being bullied, you're being bullied, or someone you know is being bullied, we need to get that information out there. And guys, I don't want you to report it because these people need your help. Videotaping and putting it out there, if you're not doing anything to stop or helping it, you're an accessory. And I need you guys to change the way you do things. Is there anything else on the bullying with the family you would like to add?
Absolutely. We talked about this last week, and I would just want to just reiterate to parents, please model the behavior that you want your children to demonstrate. If they see you being a bully, you go to a restaurant and your order may not be exactly what you asked for and you bully the server and so on. What you're doing is you are letting your child know that that is how you deal with other people. So model the behavior that you wish your children would demonstrate.
We did some statistics last week and I'm going to read them again and then I want to get Leah's and Cousia's take on it. We found out that the third thing in the U.S. that kids die off of or adults is bullying, cyberbullying. The first one was car accident, second was homicide, and the other was suicide. And they said 4,500 kids commit suicide each year because of some type of bullying, whether it's cyberbullying and so forth. And that to me isn't a disturbing number. And it says that the females, again, the girls, we're the rough ones. We're the ones that do it. What do you think about that when you hear those numbers, Leah?
Oh, that's absolutely true. Even SHRM, Society of Human Resources Managers, they took a poll back in 2014, if my memory serves me correctly. Women were the number one corporates of bullying.
Wow.
Not men, but women.
I can believe it.
And then I believe, there's no research on this, well, I haven't seen, but I believe African American women are the leaders of the bullying. And it also said that, I'm going to ask you a question, Sherry. Do you think married women or single women, who's the bullier?
I would say married.
No, single.
Really? I'm not,
single women.
I'm not that much of a bully. I plead the fifth. But that's awesome, though. Because I kind of can vibe with your theory, but I'm going to check on that in a minute. But, Cousia, what do you think about that, the statistics that I read? What do you think about that? Isn't that alarming?
It's alarming. Yes, it is. Excuse me. You told me to stop moving around. Okay. It is alarming because I could have easily slipped into that number, because of my abuse.
Wow.
I became an abuser.
Yeah, and see, again, you guys, these are some tough topics that we have to talk about. And when we come back, we're going to have Leah wrap up her story as to what she did to correct the problem she was having. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
And so a new American industry has been born.
Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We're going to be talking about some birthdays here. I want to give some shout outs to some folks. I want to give it out to Alicia Burrows. That's my shero, guys, from Atlanta, Georgia. Happy birthday. We got Lopez Sally, Oscar Solis of Tucson, Arizona, Leroy Williams of Orlando, Florida, Kimberly Bettis of New York, New York, CJ Stewart of Lubbock, Texas, Hope Warner Adams of Firestone, Colorado, Kevin Gerninski of Las Corocas, New Mexico, I believe. And then I want to say happy birthday to Tanika's granddaughter, who is now here. Her daughter Ajane gave birth to a baby girl, Amani Giselle. I want to give a shout out to my parents for their 56th wedding anniversary, Silas and Donnie Griffin Jr. And then I want to say happy birthday to some of my lady hard hitters and hitters out there. Tiffany Renee, Lady Hard Hitter, Sexy T Red, happy birthday. Sylvia Martinez, Mama Duke, and Joanna Morena, Little Bit. And then Arterio Hildago of Liberty Hill, Texas. Happy birthday, guys. Thank you for tuning in, guys. And now we're going to talk more about what we got going on here with this bullying thing. And so, Leela, finish up. Tell us what was going on with you and how did you correct the situation?
Okay, well, fast forward. She called me in the office after I had been out on vacation, and she said, you know what, your services are no longer needed, that we're going to give you 2 weeks severance pay. And she didn't give me a separation notice at that time. In Georgia, when you are separated, you are required to give a Georgia separation notice. So she said, can you take your things and just proceed out of another entrance? And I was like, okay. And it was really a relief. So I go home, and then I filed for my unemployment. And then when I filed for my unemployment, they said I was terminated. That's when it really pissed me off. So I shared, with my husband's friend what happened, who happens to be a former judge and an attorney. He says, I know the owner of that company. And I said, really? He said, yes. He says he would not condone that type of behavior. So I had gathered all the information, over the past year. And so I showed it to him, and he was like, do you want to go to the EEOC, or do you want to go to the directly to the owner? I said, let's go directly to the owner. So I went directly to the owner, and he was like, why didn't you come to me? And I said, well, I didn't feel comfortable because of the things she was putting out in the atmosphere. Long story short, they settled. I mean, they were like, I had a strong case of, I couldn't, it's too long to tell. I had a documentation, I had all types of stuff. So I won I say it's a lawsuit, but they paid me to be quiet. Okay, so I was settled with that. And then it was crazy. They didn't terminate her. And I don't know if she has something on the company or what, but she didn't terminate her. But I don't wish bad on anybody, but she became really ill. I mean, really, really ill. And then you talk about hurt people. That's right. So come to find out that a lot of people, even in the HR department, knew that she had a lot of personal issues. And I was like, why didn't you all tell me that? Because I could have been jabbing back at her.
But why?
But you know what? My thing is, because she was so mean. And then when I found out she had all this going on, first of all, why didn't you just tell me? Because I could have handled it mentally differently. But they were fearful for their jobs. So they were like, hey, you have to just find out like everybody else. And then I even told them, the CEO of the company and their leadership team, do you monitor the turnover in your HR department? Because it's my fault. I should have asked, how many people have been in this position to me prior.
Right.
And guess how many, Cherry?
The way it sounds, she probably ran through about 10, 15.
22 people.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep. But when we come back, we're going to have Leah tell you about her, what is it, Chief Bully Buster, and then we're going to go in to talk more about bullying, but we're going to segue now into domestic violence. Don't go anywhere. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her?
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge?
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve! It's now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend?
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I am an American soldier.
I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place mission first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough. Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert, and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
Enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong, and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We are talking about bullying, and we're getting ready to end this segment but with Leah telling us how to reach back to her with us. Chief Bully Buster, for those of you that are going through workplace bullying. I also want to let you know again, if you're listening to us on TuneIn, you can text us at 678-613-5857. You can either text or call if you're wanting to call in, and also if you're on Facebook, go ahead and type in the comment area and we'll get back with you. So again, I want to do 2 shout outs real fast because I should have did this earlier. Maceo, thank you so much for listening, as well as Ted Bear and Hardcore, Angelica, Andre Tate, and Christian Sharon. I thank you so much for tuning in. Leah, go ahead and tell us how people can catch up with you on tell us what the Chief Bully Buster is, and go ahead and tell us your information.
Okay, I'm again Leah Missy Haygood, and I am a described bully buster, chief bully buster, because I go into organizations and I rid out bullies, and also I help people in the workplace who are suffering in silence, who actually have a case. So I have clients throughout the Southeast United States right now, and I help them plan so they can pursue to sue either through the EEOC or helping them obtain a employment attorney.
Yes.
I can be reached at Missy. My email address is missy@bullybusters.work, and my website is www.bullybusters.work, and I'll be able to and happily able to help you.
Thank you so much, and don't go anywhere because we want you to be a part of this conversation too. And now, guys, we're going to talk about something that is very dear to my heart. I mean, I grew up watching it. I know people who are involved in it, and I lost a friend to it. Domestic violence. She was taken from this earth at the age of 27 at the hands of her husband, left 3 beautiful children behind. And no matter what we did to try to help her or to help her through the situation, It seems like the system failed us. So we're going to talk about domestic violence. And we're talking to our gentleman right now because a lot of it is at the hand. And I don't want you men to think that you guys don't get domestic violence against you either, because men are also victims of domestic violence. You have those women that are aggressive. So we're going to touch on both areas, but I want to tell you what domestic violence means. It's also called domestic abuse, battering, or family violence. It is a pattern of behavior which involves violence or other abuse by one person. So we're going to kick this thing off. I invited Cousia here because she is a victim of domestic violence and family violence. And I asked her if she would open this segment up with her story, and then we'll go in it from there.
Hello, my name is Cousia Towns, and I thank Cherry for having me here today. And I am a survivor and an advocate for domestic violence. I would like to start my story off as that, I was in a relationship with someone for 17 years, not knowing that I was being abused because I was so used to that abuse. Growing up, coming from an abusive household and growing up in the foster care system, yes, it was really rough for me when I was, in that relationship. But I realized that I kept getting involved with men that was abusive. And this particular individual, being with him for 17 years, he was verbally, mentally, and physically abusive. And I couldn't understand why it just kept happening to me. So I ended up leaving 14 years ago, going to Dallas, Texas, and I stayed there. And to me, Dallas, Texas was my safe place. But I realized after I got there, the Lord took me. He took me there because he needed to let me see exactly what the reason why I was going through so much. And, I went through, a lot of low places, in Texas. But I come to realize when he said, you need to understand that this is where you come from. At the age of 23 months old, my mother was murdered by the hands of my father. And that was the beginning of the violence. And I was found sitting in my mother's blood. And my mother had 8 kids, and I was number 7. So when they found me sitting in her blood, God said that was the transfer right there. Wow. That was the transfer right there. So I couldn't understand what was happening, but he revealed, that was my revealing place. I thought I was running away from something. It was my revealing place. He showed me, this is why. You thought you was running, but you ran right into me.
That's very deep, and I can really understand what she's talking about because I can relate to that, because that's why I'm here in Georgia. You guys stay tuned. We're going to come back talking to you're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, and father of 5. I'm also an expert on drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids, and there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org.
And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ed Council.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?
Sensation Station Network. Radio, not dumbed down.
driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We are talking about domestic violence, and we're talking to our men and our ladies about it, recognizing the signs. If you have any comments or anything you would like to share, please text or call us at 678-613-5857. If you're listening to us on TuneIn, please text at 678-613-5857. And if you're listening on Facebook, go ahead and write your comments in the comment section, and we'll get back to you. We left the segment listening to Cousia Town. She opened up her story as to how domestic violence, she was a victim, as well as how much where it started in her life. And she mentioned that she left here to go to Texas 14 years ago, running away, what she thought was running away, but it was actually taking her to a place where she could step out and see just where everything was going wrong for her. And we had this conversation because my journey here to Georgia was my run from Florida to get away from the things that were going through in my life that I was trying to hide from and run from. And when I got here to Georgia, I had my lows and my highs, but I got to see exactly why I was so angry, why I was the bully, and why I was going through some things. And, we were talking to our gentlemen. I want to let you guys know that when you're angry about something, or that you have issues that you're going through in your life, that you've been abused, you can become that abuser. I know how some of you don't want to, but putting your hands on somebody, hitting them, talking low or down to them, that is not the route or the way to go. We have to step out of our comfort zone and confront the demons that we are continuing to run from. So, Kasha, I know you said that when you were, I think, 23 months or 28 months?
23 months old.
You were found in your mom's blood. Did you guys go right into foster care at that point, or how did you know what happened? How did that come to you?
See, actually, right before, I was so young. So my grandmother, she agreed to take on all of the children, because from my understanding, my mother asked her if anything happened to her. So my mother knew that she was in an abusive relationship. She asked her to take the kids, and she did. And we ended up with my grandmother, but it was so many of us. And I'm the only one who went to the foster care system out of all of them.
Wow. And you were number 7.
I was number 7.
And what's funny is, and like I told her, we share a lot. I was number 7 out of the 9 of us. So I'm number 7. Ladies, hearing some of her story here, do you guys have anything you want to comment or say, or a question you want to ask?
I just have a comment because my heart is just breaking for you still, but also at the same time, I celebrate you because you have chosen to continue to live.
Yes.
I celebrate that, and you've chosen to give back. It just really shows the relationship between bullying, what some of the after effects of bullying long-term effects, I should say, of bullying, what they can be. The gentleman that you were with, I guarantee you that somebody was bullying him and that was only his outlet. It doesn't justify it, but it's just to show hurt people hurt people. And lastly, we start this show with the comment that we are going to talk about things that are uncomfortable. If we want things to change, if we want change to occur, we have to speak about the things that make us uncomfortable. That is the only way that we can have breakthrough and change things. We are changing cycles here. This is a generational cycle here.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't understand that. Leah, do you have any questions or anything?
I would just like to say thank you for being transparent with your story because you're helping others.
Thank you so much.
You are.
You are.
And the reason why I asked her, because when we met, it just blew my mind. We were just talking, and I was just like, wow, I don't know if this lady was sent to run into my path or whatever, and I'm a person that believes that people meet by design and not by accident. And the numbers, we were just laughing about the numbers. 14 years, I've been here. 14 years, she was gone. She's number 7, I'm number 7. She's a bully, I was a bully. We both had things happen to us in our life and our childhood. And I'll open up that segment because, like I said, for me in the show to be transparent is very important. You know, I was molested when I was younger. So that was the cause of my anger and my bullying. And it was a trying time for me because in the black family, what happens in this house stays in this house. And you don't talk about it. So I had one childhood friend that we talked about after so many years. He had no idea that he was the one, my saving grace, and I call him heaven because he saved my life on many occasions. Because of those times when I was going through that, I wanted to just end it all. I'd see his little smiling face and we go off and tackle the world together. And I'm so forever indebted to him because he was my saving grace and he didn't even know it. He didn't know. And we've been friends now. He was the first person actually I met when we moved to the United States and my parents landed in Florida.
Wow.
So back to you, Cousia, on some things that I want to talk to you about. And I know a little bit about your story. You said you were in foster care when you went into foster care. How old were you when you went into foster care?
I went into well. Let's go back to the part where when my mom was murdered, we ended up with my grandmother. She did the best she could do. You know, with 8 kids she was given, and on my behalf, I was so angry. That's what a bullying came in at. I was so angry because she never spoke about it. Like you say, most black families, they don't speak about what's going on. Whatever goes on in the house, stays in the house. She never talked to me about. She never discussed about the whole incident that happened. So my father was released, black on black crime. He was released from prison. And he asked, could we come visit? So we were visiting my grandmother's house, and my father was there. He talked my grandmother into allowing us to come back to live with him, and she did. And did I understand that? No, I was a child, and I was, 11, maybe 11 and a half, and we went to visit, and by the age of 12, we ended up staying with my father. And I have to keep it, it's about me. And my father, he got us into this quiet place where, I can say that he started to molest me. He molested me for 2 years. 2 years. He molested me. And I ended up, like you say, bullying. That's why you say you don't know why. The teachers never saw the difference in my behavior. It was a pattern, but she never said anything, or they never said anything, but they did recognize it. So my neighbor did. I was talking to a neighbor, and because I always walked through his path going home, I was walking through his path, and I was talking to him one day. Him and his wife was sitting there, and we were looking at TV, and I looked up, and I was like, "Oh, my dad does that to me." And he said, "Oh, whoa, wait a minute, babe, come here." This young lady, just said something that was really strange, and I'm gonna say a week or two later, my father did it, molested me again, and my saving grace was my sister Tanya, because she fought for me. She fought for me and actually took a stab for me.
It's hard, especially with siblings. And with my situation, my siblings didn't know. I was protecting a younger one. When we come back, we're going to finish this conversation on Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
JBT, 700 Miami Circle, 30324. It's not a chain, it's a chain reaction.
Invest $49 a month at a real gym.
For more info, go to facebook.com/Jeans Body Tech. Your health is at stake. Diabetes.
Diabetes, cancer, heart disease. Yeah, right. I'm too young to worry about all of that. Or am I? Millions of Americans are being diagnosed younger and younger each year. I guess it's really no surprise with how much our lifestyles have changed. More fried fast foods, extreme stress from work. 176 million people in North America consume unhealthy drinks. I know I do. Who could be next? My brother? My sister? Me? I think it's time to make a difference, and so should you. Extreme X2O alkaline water, designed to cleanse your body with just 2 simple steps: shake and wait. Not only will it help clean your kidneys, liver, and intestines, but it also helps with weight loss and anti-aging. Sign me up today. AbundantLifeMovement.com. You know, I better go call my sister to let her know about this. You should really tell a friend too, because is it really gonna kill you to shake and wait?
Sensation Station Network. Radio 2. Atlanta.
Up in the sky, it's a bird.
It's a plane!
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We are talking about domestic violence. We have a guest in the house, Cousia Towns, that is sharing her story. I'm sharing mine. Our guests got some short stories they want to share, and we're addressing our ladies right now. The purpose of this and the stories is to set up the stage for you. We want to let you know that this stuff is real, and then we're going to give you information and stuff on how to deal with domestic violence, how to recognize it, and how to get help. So ladies, I want you to understand, listen carefully. Men, don't go anywhere, because I want you to listen too. And if you want to chime in or talk, we're at 678-613-587. You can text or talk. If you're on TuneIn, that's the number that you can text to, 678-613-5857. And if you're on Facebook and have comments, please write them in and we'll get out to you. Before we move forward, Centrell has some guests that have replied and said some things, and I would like for you to go ahead and share that with us. And then Leah, I want to come back to you about your friend.
Absolutely. Our guest, Faye Benson, said something that I think is so true, in that the love that you have for that person, even though they are become an abuser to you, it can turn into fear. And that will keep you from leaving them. You stay in the relationship, but you lose yourself for a long time, and it takes a long time to come back from that. So love turns to fear, and you can't pull yourself away from them, even though that's what you want to do.
Yeah, it's really sad. And Leah, I think on the break you were telling us about a friend of yours.
Yes, a friend of mine, Lisa, she was murdered 28 years ago, earlier this year, by an abusive boyfriend. I was really young at the time. I didn't know the signs, and it's so sad.
Yeah, and at the top, I was telling you guys I had a friend that we worked at Walt Disney World together, and we did shows together. We did a lot of stuff, and she had such a beautiful personality. And those of us that worked at Disney, we were very much a close-knit family in that entertainment department. And I can remember when I first found out she was being abused, we were getting ready for the Hercules parade, and we were both muses in the show. And we were getting ready to do our makeup, and our call time was very early that morning. So I was there first, and she came in, and we covered her eye up with the makeup, and I never said anything because I knew it wasn't the time to talk to her about it. I knew we both just had an hour or two before, a few hours before we were going to have to get out on stage and perform and do what we were hired to do. But when she came back, we talked about it, and I said, hey, look, if you need any help, I got you. You know, there's a group of us, and we did everything we could to hide her. We called the police. We gave the information. I mean, this dude left messages telling her he was going to kill her. He told her kids, I'm going to kill your mama. Left voicemail, all the stuff. You know, and we got her hidden in an apartment, and I'll never forget this, and I keep trying to shake it, and I can't, because every time July and June comes around, I think about it, because I was the last person she talked to on the phone, so that still haunts me to this day. But we had this code that she had to call and check in on with a few of us, and something told me that day she had just got back from Savannah. She dropped the kids off, and she said, hey, I'm home. And I said, hey, do you want to come over here or whatever? No, I'm going to take a shower, and I'll call you back. I said, all right, if you don't call me back, I'm going to keep calling you. I never got that phone call. I kept calling, and nothing. And that's the time she was being murdered, and we found out that all the screaming and hollering she was doing for help, no one helped. No one called until she stopped screaming. And by then it was too late. And I remember the next day walking into the call center, and the police were waiting for us to tell us. Everyone was broke up, and, you know, she was 27 years old. Mm-hmm. Such a beautiful soul. And it did something to our little family. Wow. And it did something to me. You know, because I saw stuff like that. You know, and I was like, Lord, what are you trying to tell me? And I'm going to tell you guys, that situation spiraled me downhill so quick, so fast. I didn't even know how to help myself. I just became this ticking time bomb and very destructive to everyone that came in my path, because I was taking things that I had experienced in childhood, things that happened to me and that I just experienced there, and I was just a hot mess, and I'm not even going to lie about it. I mean, but I wore so many masks that I was able to hide it for some, but for others, I was that on 2 feet for you. I had you. But, you know, a lot of people that knew me and grew up with me didn't even know what was going on except for my heaven, my one special friend. And I tell you, I thank God for him still to this day. And I know this subject is tough and it's hard. And it's tough for me because it's the first time I've ever telling my story live. So I want you to stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
Yes, cheers.
Uncle Dan? Mom? Dad? If you store your guns properly, so not just anyone can get to them, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
Safer when my friends come over. As your neighbor, I'll feel safer.
As a school teacher, I'll feel safer.
We'll all feel safer.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
People are always looking to invest in a good opportunity. So what if you could invest in the future of kids, like a stock? Not the kind of stock that's about making money, but a stock for social change, called Better Futures. With your investment, it helps students like me go to college. My name is Charles, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. Brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
We're more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Before the break, we were talking about domestic violence and the effects that it has, not just on you, but as your families and your friends. And I want to just give a message out there to my parents that are experiencing domestic violence. Don't think that your children aren't affected by it, because they are. You just don't know what you are putting on them and the pressures that you're putting on them to keep that secret hidden. And I can only talk to black families because I have to talk to people who I represent and who are a representation of me. We don't allow you to talk about those things. That stuff has to be taboo. And we need to let that go, because it can hurt your children. I think the reason why me and my brothers and sisters all have issues with relationships and stuff like that is because of what we saw growing up. So, Kasha, I want to come back to you a little bit, because I know you said that at 11 you told your neighbor that, hey, that's what my dad does to me. What happened after that? I know it was, and I can say to you, I know that it was probably out of innocence that you said it, but also a cry for help.
And that was the turning point, because from that point on, I went straight to my grandmother's house, because they came in and the system took us away from my father's home. And I was so angry at my grandmother, she just couldn't handle it. So she left me at the foster care system.
Well, with me, I was angry with my mom for a long time, because I felt like she failed me, But it never occurred to me at that time until I got here that maybe she experienced something that I did. I don't know, and I can't tell you that if she did or not. But she did the best that she could do, but she just followed suit at what was passed down to her from there. And I didn't go to a foster care, but I wasn't the best child from that point out. I was just angry, and some of us, we were talking over the break that we deal with, domestic violence or any type of violence that happened to you. You either one, some women become sexually promiscuous. They get out there and it's just, that's all they know. They think that's what they're supposed to do to feel the love. Some women feel that if you don't get beat down, there's no love there. When your man or your woman is constantly on your phone trying to figure out what's going on, that's not good. When they're constantly harassing you or verbally abusing you about something you have on, you're wearing, or what you look at, that's not good. That's not love, ladies and gentlemen. That's not love. And if they're going through your phone trying to find stuff, that's not love. Jealousy is not cute. Jealousy can kill you.
And also, Cherry, there are control issues. That's another reaction that, you know what, I couldn't control what that person did to me, so I'm going to control this relationship. So that's just another way. There's so many ways that behavior can manifest itself later on in life.
Yeah, and then when they're trying to separate you from your family, that's not good either. So you're here with your grandmother now. She sends you to foster care. I can't even imagine what that was like. How long were you in the system?
Until I aged out at 17.
Wow.
Wow. And what was your contact during this time with your grandmother?
There was not any.
None. Okay.
What about your brothers and sisters? Did you? None. Wow.
No.
Guys, that's deep.
But I don't blame them, because we all were stair steps. So just as I was dealing with some things, so were they. So I look at myself now as, I was chosen, because for me, I'm bold, and I'm going to tell it. I'm going to make sure I tell people about domestic violence. I'm going to speak about the foster care system, because those are the things that I encountered. And I know that I had compartmentalized so much, being angry at my family, abandonment. The bullying came because what I had experienced in my life. So now I'm just doing what God called me to do, and he birthed this baby. Now I can go out and speak about it.
You
and
know,
be transparent.
and that's awesome. You guys stay tuned. We're talking about domestic violence. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you going to do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
I am an American soldier. I'm a warrior and a member of a team. I serve the people of the United States and live the Army values.
I will always place finish first.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never accept defeat.
I will never quit.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
I am disciplined.
I am disciplined. Physically and mentally tough.
Trained and proficient in my warrior tasks and drills.
I always maintain my arms, my equipment, and myself.
I am an expert and I am a professional.
I stand ready to deploy, engage, and destroy the
enemies of the United States of America in close combat.
I am a guardian of freedom and the American way of life.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
I am an American soldier.
There's strong and there's Army strong. See what it takes at GoArmy.com.
This is big business. This is the American way.
Station Network.
See ya.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Right now, I want to let my people out there know that I'm thinking about you and that you're always on my mind. First of all, I want to give a big prayer request out there for the people in Las Vegas, especially all of those that were in that massive shooting that happened over this week. And I also want to say that I have some hard hitters that were a part of that, that are part of my Cowboys group. To my guy, Jason Sewell, his sister was one of the victims out there in Vegas. You guys, please pray for her speedy recovery. The last I was able to check, I think she had just come through surgery and that she was still, in critical condition but stable. I want to send a speedy recovery out there to Roxy Castillo. One of my friends, Amari Harvard, he lost his nephew to a violent shooting the other day. Senseless, wasn't necessary, but he lost his life. You guys please pray for them. Vanessa Gonzalez, I want to say, and I don't know how to say your last name, I'm going to spell it, Alaniz. I want to give a shout out to her, a prayer for her. And to one of our hard hitters, Chief, he lost his Pops McGee. He was hard hitter number 64 out of Dallas, Texas. I didn't get to meet him, but I did live vicariously through his pictures and everything that he shared with us. I really do appreciate that. T.C. Caldwell, Kimberly Draper, Bobby Timms, Chris Hunt, Tony Thomas, Missy Vadapena Edmonds, and Tweet Bradley. She is my niece that's going through chemo right now. You guys keep a prayer out for all of them. I'm talking to these people who have lost someone just recently or are going through things in their life and they need our prayer. And I'm asking that everybody please keep them in prayers. And to my hard hitters and my lady hard hitters out there, I love you and I got you and we're going to continue to pray for you. You're listening to Destiny Talk Live.
You don't usually get a stock tip from a 16-year-old, but I'm here to tell you about a different kind of stock. It's called Better Futures, a stock for social change that's not about making money. Instead, you invest to help students like me go to college. This is beyond a simple donation. It's the opportunity for America to invest in its kids and take an active stake in the future of the country. The return on your investment isn't money. What you get back is knowing you protected our potential. So one day, that potential can grow up to become surgeons and architects, executives and engineers, people who can change the future just by being a part of it. My name is Alicia, and I'm your dividend.
Invest in better futures with UNCF. Visit uncf.org/invest. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, but a wonderful thing to invest in. A public service announcement brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
When it comes to saving money, don't act like a baby.
Goo goo gaga.
Be the boss and make a budget.
I'm the boss, baby.
You're the boss of me.
I am the boss of you.
Are not.
M2.
Are not.
M2.
Need a little help?
Aren't you gonna do any work?
I'm very busy delegating.
Create a personalized savings plan.
We can share.
You obviously didn't go to business school.
And get other tools and tips at feedthepig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Yo, what's up? Usher.
This is Brianna.
Yeah, it's that little Chico Pitbull, Mr. 305 till I die. Listen live online.
Sensation Station Network.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. We were talking about domestic violence, and we're in the section where we're talking about our families and how we can help them. Cousia, you have just been amazing, and I really appreciate you sharing your story and the fact that it took you, your journey took you through some terrible times, but you're here to share that with us. And Leah, I'm so happy that you came and you're talking about you talked about the bullying aspect of things, and we were talking about stuff on how we can help our children. And what I want you guys to do is each of us to go through and just give that pointer again to that family of how they can help their children through bullying and through domestic violence. Leah, we'll start with you.
I would say pray for your children and let them know that just encourage them. Just be a cheerleader and encourage them.
And if you have an adult that is going through something, what would you say for them?
I would say your health is more important, but God sees and knows all. And don't worry about, it's easier to say don't worry about the finances, but just keep going up the ladder to get help.
Okay, Centrell?
You know, for the family, I would definitely say if your children come to you and they are saying that they are bullied or anything like that, do not diminish what they feel. Don't ever say to them in any way that it's your fault. What did you do or anything like that? Just be there, listen to them, be that safe place for them to land, and be willing to go as far as you need to go to make them feel safe.
And if you have something to say to your parents that are going through domestic violence or anything and kids are in the home, what would you give them?
Don't ever think that they don't know what's going on. Don't ever think that, because children see. The one thing that we do forget is that our children around 10 or 11, they start to see us as people more than just your parents. So they see you for who you are as a human being, and be rest assured that if you don't do anything for them now, it will show up later in how they relate to you or they don't relate to you.
Exactly. So the same question for you, Cousia.
I can piggyback. You should pray for them. Ask them to seek counseling, you know, and one thing I learned to do is to forgive. You have to forgive in order to move past it, but definitely pray. Stay in prayer.
And the forgiving is not just for the person, the abuser, or the person that did you wrong. The forgiving is for yourself also.
Yes.
You have to forgive yourself in order to
Absolutely.
move forward. In order to make a difference or do anything different in your life, you have to accept whatever it is that you're going through and know that it's not your fault. You know, you didn't ask for any of that nonsense that's happening to you in your life. But in order for you to squash those demons and get on with your life, you're going to have to forgive yourself. Now, I'm going to go back through here because when we come back with close to the end, I got something else I want to say. But I want Leah to give us again how to reach out to you and so forth, and anybody have questions.
Missy, M-I-S-S-Y, at bullybusters.org. My website is www.bullybusters.org.
Great. And Centrell?
Santrell Green at the Eliam, E-L-I-A-M, grouptraining.com.
All right, and when we come back, I'm going to get the information for Cousia, and then I'll give you mine, and you're listening to Destiny Talk Live.
Sensation Station. I'm in the zone, man. Network. I'm impressed.
For more connected than ever before. 90% of America's students use some form of social media, but not all of it's used in a good way. Hurtful posts online are leading to social isolation for many. Psychologists say it's bullying in a brand new way. Well, Beyond Differences and I Keep Safe are looking to change that with ideas for students, their parents, and even teachers. Take the pledge to be kind online and learn more at wearekindonline.com.
Hi, I'm Viola Davis. Did you know that 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger? Growing up, I was one of those kids, but we can solve this. When we make breakfast happen for kids in our neighborhood, we have the power to end childhood hunger, create bigger, brighter school days, and healthier minds and bodies. Go to hungeris.org and lend your time or your voice.
We're hungry for more.
A message from the Albertsons Companies Foundation and the Entertainment Industry Foundation.
Our freedom and security are made possible through the service and sacrifice of our military and first responders. The Gary Sinise Foundation provides many outreach programs supporting these brave men and women. Join us. Donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Welcome back to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Cousia, give them information on how to reach you and what you do.
If you'd like to reach me, you can reach me at email at ctowns@amoretransitional.org, or you can be able to call me at 214-374-9387 if you have questions.
And I want to give you the domestic violence hotline. If you're out there and you're experiencing some domestic violence, you need to call 1-800-799-7233. Again, the domestic hotline number is 1-800-799-7233. The bully hotline is 1-800-273-8255. This is where we usually, part of the show, we give you tips and tell you what you need to do for domestic violence, or to handle with bullying. But because of the way we set the show up today, I just wanted to give you those numbers. And you guys, invite you to come to our Destiny Talk Live Facebook page, because we're going to be posting up a lot of other stuff. And I just want people to know this was a heavy topic today, and it was very difficult for a couple of us to share. But I told you at the beginning of Destiny Talk, I'm very transparent. In order for you to understand that I understand you, you need to be able to see into me. Now, I'm going to break this up just a little bit because I think it was just really heavy, and I want to put out some fun information out there. There is a casting call for child models for Sunday, October 15th, 2017, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Simply Taylor is a new children's line that is coming out, and we need girls and boys that wear sizes 4 through 10. If you want to reserve your spot, please email info@simplytailorkids.com. Include the guardian's name, child's name, age, clothing size, and shoe size, and 2 or 3 current photos. If you do not have headshots, Al One Photography will be on property to do headshots for $20 for 2 photos, and we're looking for everybody to come out. I'm so proud of Simply Tailor. They are doing an awesome job, and I want you guys to keep doing what you're doing. And I want to tell my listeners out there, anything that you feel that you are going through, there is an outlet and there's someone to help you. My pledge to you is to listen to you without judgment, but listen to you with an open heart to be able to help you. My pledge is I will be your accountability partner if you allow me. And that if you are really ready to get through or go through or come out of whatever you're experiencing, I will be there for you. This show will be here for you. Everyone that's on this panel will be here for you. But you've got to commit to change. You got to commit to want to do something different and be different in your life. I know things are not always easy. I know that you're always going to be faced with some things that you're not quite sure how to deal with them. All I can tell you is how I dealt with them. I had to first be able to look at that man in the mirror, myself, and hold a conversation. And once I was able to believe what was coming out of my mouth, I knew that I was on my way to a different place in life. You know, so again, you're listening to Destiny Talk Live. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to us on Destiny Talk Live on our Facebook page or you can do destinytalklive@gmail.com, and we'll be back to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. You are listening to Destiny Talk Live. I'm your host, Cherry G. Have a great evening.
Deliberate dumbing down.
Dumb down society.
Deliberate dumbing down of America.
Dumb down public. Why would they do this?